Hi, everyone. Welcome to Socially Joe. This is episode 3, where once again, we're here to bring entrepreneurs, business owners, and nonprofits to you to find out how, we can help each other out, support each other, network, and grow. So joining me today is Donna Satiro. So, with that, I love Donna. I met her over a year ago at a networking group in Bradenton, and we just connected on such a level as like great friends that I still communicate with her, and she helps me out with clearing a lot of stuff in my mind. So with that, I want to welcome Donna Satiro. Donna?
Oh, thank you, Joe. And I'm really excited to be here, and thank you. And yeah, I met Joe a little over a year ago, and he's a really great guy. And but let me tell you a bit about me, just so we can get started. I am a clinical hypnotherapist and a rapid resolution therapist or a practitioner for rapid resolution therapy. So I remove things that are disturbing that people experience. So I've been in Bradenton for 46 years. I'm a mother of 4 amazing kids and 10 grandkids. So I love life and I love helping people.
Nice. That's awesome. So, Donna, I know you kind of touch point, but maybe you can give us a little bit more. But what is RRT? Because you said it was rapid response therapy. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Love to. It's called rapid resolution therapy. It was developed by a Dr. Jon Connelly down in Delray Beach, decades ago. He specializes in trauma, especially sexual trauma. And I've been training with him for 8 years. And what rapid resolution therapy does, it's a unique technique. It's innovative modality that targets the emotional responses. The practitioner facilitates about a 1 to 3 hour session. And during that session, it alleviates emotional charges from past and present experiences. Sort of like when things impact our lives, it's kind of like, if you can imagine, a hand slamming into sand. It makes an imprint. It's designed to do that because the mind's job is to protect the organism and to cause it to continue. And so the mind becomes highly alert, very vigilant, looking for similarities. But the problem is, a lot of the time when those things, the thing is no longer happening. In other words, this hand is no longer in the sand, but the emotional part of the mind has that impact. So it's seeing the imprint and thinking on some level that it's still in existence, and it's causing feelings, emotions, sensations in order to get something done about it. RRT is like the wave that comes over and soothes that in a way that is uplifting and safe, and giving back the person their power over their emotions. People don't look to feel bad.
Okay.
I don't think people pick their emotions and their feelings. I think things happen. And when something happens, you go, well, what caused that? You're not going to say, I wonder if something caused that. Of course, something caused it. So RRT is like the wave, it comes up, it clears the mind from those emotional disturbances and releases that energy.
Okay. So with that being said, how is this different from any other form of therapy?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. This is what I really love about RRT. People that become therapists, those are people with a lot of passion, and they're looking to help people. RRT, as I said, it's innovative. It's not your typical type therapy. The facilitator, which would be the practitioner, would be facilitating the session. When someone comes in to see me, I'm not going to say, this is your problem and you need to clear it. I'm going to be looking at it. This is my problem. This is that they've been having, where they've been stuck, and it's my job to shift that. It's my responsibility to shift that, and not the person who's having the issue. Because if they could have, they would have. Like I said, no one wants to feel bad. It's those, I wish I could stop thinking like this, or I wish I could stop feeling like this. Those are things that are being caused. Those are things that people aren't choosing to feel or do. And it's my job to help alleviate that. The other thing is that a lot of therapists believe that you have to get feelings out. They might have you like punch a pillow or, go break rocks in your backyard and to get the feeling out. On a couple levels, that's not good. When you're in let's just say a state of anger, and you want to get that out, and someone starts beating up pillows, that's actually creating reinforcing neural pathways in the brain, which is causing that to be even stronger. So that isn't useful. The second thing, that there are no feelings to get out. If you were to go take a picture of a bird and you brought me your camera and said, hey, look, I saw this bird, I want you to see this bird, I would never be looking at the bird. I would be looking at the information or the data about the bird, because the camera would not be holding the bird. So a lot of times people think that what they're trying to get out is something that's in them. And it's not that there's anything in them. It's the mind's response that it's having to the data about the situation that's causing the feelings and the emotions and the sensations that they're experiencing. And does that make sense?
Yeah, that totally makes sense to me. So then why is hypnosis more effective than traditional therapy?
Well, for a couple reasons. So let's say you and I were having lunch and we were having a really pleasant conversation. We would be able to exchange information fairly easily because I would be comfortable, you would be comfortable, we would be enjoying the experience. But if we were having lunch and let's say there was a storm outside and a tornado hits the building, we would no longer be experiencing a pleasant connection of lunch and exchange of information. None of that could be going on. So when the mind is highly vigilant about something, as I said, its job is to protect. It becomes highly vigilant, and you don't want to cause someone to relive an experience. That's the beauty of RRT. They don't relive the experience. When someone is reviewing or going over an experience that was disturbing, what happens is that the mind is processing that information and is creating, again, stronger neural pathways, which is reinforcing it. So you don't want someone reliving something that they already lived through, and that wouldn't be something that would be pleasant to do anyway. But hypnosis allows the mind to focus on something in a way that would be beneficial. So you have 2 trillion bits of information that come into your awareness every second. You can't process 2 trillion bits of information per second. Your mind can only process 128,000 bits of information per second. So that's a lot of information coming at you at one time. You can imagine toothpicks, 2 trillion toothpicks falling on you each second. That's a lot of toothpicks coming at you.
Yeah.
That if you could only reach out and grab 128,000 of those toothpicks, what you're focusing on is what you're grabbing. Okay, so if you're focusing on something that has been disturbing, you keep reaching into that pile of toothpicks and you're pulling out the same 128 bits of information. So the mind's kind of like on this wheel, like a gerbil, going round and round and round and round. And the rest of the stuff kind of goes under your awareness or gets deleted. So RRT helps you focus on a different way of looking at something that would be of benefit, a better way of looking at something that would help create a shift, that helps create that shift. It allows focus in a non-threatening way. in order to get that shift. And so when eyes are closed, that blocks out a great deal of that data coming at you, because a lot of data comes in through our eyes. So it's a relaxing state. It allows the body to relax and that information to be exchanged in order to create the shift. Does that make sense?
Oh yes, it does. It does. You kind of cut in a little bit and out of there, so but we got a lot of gist. It was like a little pointer here or there. So,
Okay.
but with that, who, I guess now that you told me a little bit more about it, and I have to say is like when you had mentioned sitting in a restaurant and enjoying conversation. Example, you and I had great conversation this past Saturday, and we sat and we talked for hours, and I kind of got the mindset that you were going over with having that great conversation, but what if something negative happens, and now that kind of shifts that. So with that, who do you feel, or who is the best candidate for RRT, and who can it help?
Well, that's a great question. And it helps, it can help anybody that had ever experienced an event that was disturbing. There's kids that grow up that experience being bullied, or you have like big T's and little T's, anything that's traumatic. Big T's could be something like a rape or a bad car accident, a first responder that, lost, a kid because the kid reminded him of his kid. And, now his mind is racing with things that like, oh my gosh, what if this happens to my kid? So mind is preoccupied worrying about something that's not even in existence at the time. So anybody that has preoccupation with concern or worry or fears or anything that happened that was disturbing and would like to have it no longer bothering them, as to say, I can talk about having been raped, but it's not like it's going to bother me anymore. It's not going to have those negative charges that sting. And so does that make sense?
Oh, that totally makes sense. And I hear you 100%, because one of the past jobs I worked for, I worked for a company up north, and we catered to firefighters, EMS, police, and Army, and we supplied them with their supplies that they needed, medical supplies, firefighting tools, and all this other stuff. And you're right, some of those people that go and do this job, which I have to thank them for their service because they do a wonderful job in what they do. Some of them come out with PSTD and some anxieties and all this other stuff because you don't know what will happen. I I don't have PSTD, but the thing is, like, I have worries on my mind every day. Like, am I going to have a job tomorrow? That could be some random thought in someone's head. Could be anyone's head, mine, who's ever's. But do I have enough money for this? How am I going to support that? And whatever. I totally understand the whole concept of, how what goes on minds people, because everyone's going to be different. Someone's going to worry about something different versus anything. Versus, like, example, Socially Joe is about helping entrepreneurs. So with that, what would you say? I'm just adding this as a bonus question, but what are some worries that you would think of that entrepreneurs would think about and just start worrying about it, Don? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Because I would say money. I would say leap of faith. I'd be like, oh my God, what?
Well, Eddie, what's going on is our minds. The two biggest things that threaten our minds are what we call a perceived threat, and I say perceived threat because typically a threat would be a lion. For us, for people, it's not likely that we're going to encounter a lion face to face, which means death. But what people experience every day, job interviews, public speaking, mind still perceives those as a threat. So the emotional mind doesn't say, oh, public speaking, or how am I going to make the bills this month.